It has been emphasized over and over and over that it's very important to be able to think critically, especially nowadays in this digital age where we are bombarded with tons of information every day. Every day there is a new solution. Every day there is a new framework. Every day there is a new roadmap. Every day there is a new system. Every day there is a new opportunity to help you become rich quicker, to help you live a better life. Every day there is a new guru who comes with a new solution to help you live the life of your dream. Now, how can we ensure that we are not trapped into a fallacy? Or how can we ensure ourselves that we are not scammed into something that will hurt us deeply? That is the reason of this video. And by the way, I'm Zoe from Cameroon. I'm your host. Welcome to this show. There was this city in the Bible called Berea. The people who were living in that city were called the Bereans. These was quite interesting people because instead of following every new idea, every new way of living, every new business philosophy, or every new opportunity, they had this capacity to judge, to examine, to be able to tell at the end of their process that this is the truth. We can believe this philosophy, and this is not the truth. We cannot believe this philosophy. They have this attitude that help them avoid many scams, many traps, and that is why they are very interesting, because they taught me a lot of things when it comes to critical thinking. In fact, in those days, there was this new movement that was making waves all around them, and that movement was initiated by the name called the person or the figure called Jesus Christ. This movement was about repenting from our sins and returning to the kingdom and the lordship of God, the creator of the heavens and the earth. And that movement was making waves all around them. Many people were joining the movement. And one day, one of the figures of that movement called Paul came to their city. And instead of just joining the movement, because many people were talking about it, many people were saying that is a good thing, they had a different attitude. They judged, they examined, they confronted Paul to understand if what he was teaching, what he was presenting was the truth. They had this capacity of not being influenced by the popularity of the person in front of them, or not be influenced by the fact that many people have joined that movement. They have this capacity of thinking in a critical way, to be able to discern if what they were presenting to was accurate, was relevant, was useful, and more was aligned with their values. And those people taught me a lot when it comes to critical thinking. And I want to share with you in this video 5 attitudes that I've learned from studying the Bereans, and I really believe that it will help you. So stay tuned, take a pen, take a piece of paper, because you will have something to jot down. It is very important. The first attitude of the Bereans that helped them think critically was their open-mindedness. You know, when we talk about thinking critically, many people think about testing ideas, rejecting ideas, protecting just protecting yourself from other ideas. No. Bereans were open-minded. They were willing and ready to learn from other people. They were willing and ready to get other perspectives because they have this strong belief inside of them that they had only a tiny portion of the whole knowledge. And when you understand that you don't know everything, you are ignorant of many other things, it humbles you and leads you to become an open-minded person, because you understand that you need other people's perspectives. You need other people to teach you new ways that you didn't know before. That is why the Bereans were open-minded. If you want to build that ability to think in a critical way, the first attitude you have to adopt, you have to build in your life, it is to be an open-minded person, because you don't know everything. You are ignorant of many things. In fact, you ignore many things that you know things, or you are more ignorant than you are knowledgeable. And you have to understand that there are many things you don't know. What you know is just a tiny portion of the whole knowledge. In fact, it is even insignificant when it comes to the whole knowledge. That is why, like Bereans, you and I need to be open-minded. That is the first attitude of the Berean you have to build in your life to be able to think in a critical way. The second attitude of the Bereans is their hunger to learn. That is very important, because there is a big difference between open-mindedness and being hungry to learn. When someone is hungry, he is proactive. He has to do something to satisfy his hunger. When you are hungry, you take action. When you are hungry, you are not just talking, you take action to satisfy your hunger. That is the attitude of people who are hungry to learn, like the Bereans. They knew that they were ignorant of many things. That is why they were open-minded. But also they had this deep hunger to know new things, to be able to know better and to know more. And that is very important. Like food, when you are hungry, you go, you find yourself some food and you eat. But something is very interesting here. It is that after a certain moment, you will feel hungry again. That is why it's very important for you to understand that hunger to learn, you will never be able to satisfy it definitely or completely. It is something that you will go after over and over. When you will be learning new things, when you will be knowing more and knowing better, you will enjoy that moment. But after a certain period of time, you will feel that same hunger, because it's about being hungry. And when you are hungry, you are just eating something to satisfy yourself for a moment. But after a certain period of time, you will have to go back to the food, because that hunger cannot be satisfied in a definite way. That is the second attitude you have to build. That hunger to learn, to know new things, to know more and to know better, because that was the attitude of the Bereans. If I am self-aware of the fact that I am ignorant, that what I know is just a tiny portion of the whole knowledge, it will lead me to seek for knowledge, to seek for new information, because I understand that I need new information to become more effective and to become more successful in what I'm doing. And that was the second attitude of the Berean you have to build. The third attitude of the Berean is that they were teachable, and that is very important. And I want you here not to make the confusion. Open-mindedness is being open to new perspectives. After that, we have the hunger to learn, is that I am proactive in seeking that knowledge because I understand that my ignorance is far greater than my knowledge. So I need to be proactive in my search for new information to know more and to know better. But to be teachable is different. There are people who are looking for new information just that are confirming what they already know, and they are rejecting any idea that is contrary to what they know or what they have been taught or what they believe. And for someone to be teachable, that person has to be willing to unlearn some information that are no more relevant. You know, even in our journey to acquire new knowledge, we have to understand that there are knowledge that are relevant for today but will not be relevant for tomorrow. So when you are teachable, you have to understand that there will be things you will have to unlearn, and there will things you will have to learn. What does that mean? It means that there will be things you will have to reject, things you were believing, things you were using in your life, that when you come into contact with new information that are very accurate, powerful, useful, and aligned with your principles, you will take that decision to reject what you knew before. So if you want to become teachable, you have to be willing to unlearn what you knew before and to learn new things. And that was a powerful attitude of the Bereans. And you also, if you want to become a critical thinker, you have to understand that critical thinking is not just about judging other people's ideas, but it's also about judging my ideas as I confront them with other people's ideas. It is not about examining other people's ideas and scanning other people's ideas, but it's also about scanning my own ideas. And to be able to do that, you have to be willing to unlearn and to learn new things. And that is very important. The fourth attitude of the Bereans is that they had an authoritative point of reference. They had an authority in their lives. They have that point of reference. For them, it was the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures, the Bible, and everything they come into contact with, they compare that with that authority, with those Holy Scriptures. And that is very important. There is no critical thinker in the world that doesn't have an authoritative point of reference. It doesn't exist. If you don't have a point of reference, then you are missing something very important when it comes to critical thinking. Every critical thinker has a point of reference. And for the Bereans, they were value grounded, and their values were biblical. Their philosophy of life, their principles of life were from the Bible, and everything they learned or everything they came into contact with, they had to confront it with that authority, with that Bible. And everything that was contrary to what the Bible taught or teaches, they had to reject it. Every critical thinker has an authoritative point of reference, and you have to build that, because your values have to be grounded in that authoritative point of reference. Your values have to come from that philosophical, axiological, or deep principles that are guiding your life. And that is very important. Bereans were founded, the values of the Bereans were from the Bible. And when Paul came into their city and started presenting to them this new kingdom message, they were confronting the teachings of Paul with what their authoritative point of reference was saying about that. That is why they were very critical in their way of approaching every new idea. You cannot just go into this world and follow every new idea, follow every new opportunity, follow every new concept. You have, first of all, if you want to succeed in this world, first of all, you have to be grounded in some values that define you, in some values that are like your compass, and everything the world brings to you, you have to be able to compare that to your values. And if they are contrary to your values, you reject them. If they are aligned with your values, you can look into that. And that was the fourth attitude of the Bereans. They were value grounded. They had an authoritative point of reference. My question is this: what is your point of reference? What is the authority of your life? What is that philosophy, that book, that values that when they are violated, you are willing and ready to reject that opportunity, to say no to that information, to say no to that philosophy? Are you this kind of person? Because there is this saying that if you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. Every great figure in our history stood for something. They were grounded in some values. Myself, for me, I'm grounded in the Holy Scriptures. Everything that comes my way, I confront it with the Scriptures. The Scriptures, the Bible, it is the authoritative point of reference in my life. And that is why I can think critically and I can critique a philosophy. I can judge a philosophy. I can examine a new opportunity based on those values. And if you want to become a critical thinker, you have to find that authoritative point of reference that will help you judge, examine, and analyze everything that comes your way. And that is very important. The last attitude of the Bereans, it is they had a database. What does that mean? The fact that they were grounded in the Bible, in the Holy Scriptures, was not just something that came out of the blue. No. They had their personal experience because they have tried that holy book. They have tried what it is written in that book, and they have seen changes in their lives. They have seen many miracles happening in their lives. They had their own stories of how their lives were shaped by the principles of the Holy Scriptures. They have their own experience. They have the experiences of all those who are around them, and they have the experience of the different stories that are spoken into that book. And it is based on these experiences, testimonies, results that book became for them the authority. That book didn't become the authority in their lives just because it was called the Holy Scriptures. No, they had their personal experiences with those scriptures. They tried those scriptures. They applied those scriptures in some of their situations, and they saw how their situations completely changed. They had their relatives, their friends who applied those same principles, and they saw how those lives were changed because of those values. That is why, based on those information, that book became for them the authority, because they had enough experiences in their own lives, in the lives of their friends, of their families, and they have heard many testimonies of how the principles taught in that book changed the lives of many people. And based on those testimonies, based on those experiences, they put their faith into that book, and that book became their point of reference. You know, critical thinkers do not choose an authoritative point of reference just or because other people said it is an authority. No, they make their own experience. They make their own experience, and based on their experiences and the experiences of other people that they know, they can finally decide that it is a true authority. I can trust the principles of this philosophy. I can trust the values that I taught in this book, and that book becomes to them the authority of their lives. Every critical thinker has a point of reference, but that point of reference came from the fact that they had enough experiences, because they have applied the principles taught in that book, in that philosophy, in that way of living, and they have seen how their lives have changed. And you also, if you want to become a critical thinker, you have to build your database, because to be able to choose that and to say that this is my point of reference, this is the authority of my life, the Holy Scripture is the authority of my life, you have to experience something. You have to experience something deep, something powerful, something that will completely change and blow your mind. And based on that experience and the experiences of all other people, you will be able to say that the Holy Scriptures, for example, like the Bereans, now it is the authority of my life. And everything that comes your way, you judge it by confronting it with the principles taught into that book. These were the 5 attitudes of the Bereans that helped me become more critical in my way of thinking, and that helped me avoid all those scams, all those traps, because nowadays, if you are not thinking critically, you will be a victim. And you also, I want you to take advantage of those 5 attitudes of the Bereans to become you also a critical thinker. I hope you've got a lot of value from this. It was Zoe from Cameroon, and I wish you success.